Hi, my name is Bren Barron, and today we're going to discuss housing as a human right and how we as a community in Lexington can advocate for a human rights approach to homelessness solutions. So first we need to clarify what exactly it means to approach housing and homelessness from a human rights perspective. In 1966, the United Nations added a section called the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And in this section, adequate housing is defined as a human right because it is considered a key component in establishing a quality of life and as integral to achieving economic and social success. We can see this further illustrated in the theories of Maslow. We can see a depiction of Maslow's hierarchy of needs on the left. And as you can see, the foundational needs there at the bottom are the ones that need to be met to build a foundation before any other higher needs can be met. And those at the bottom are warmth, rest, security, and safety, our physiological and safety needs. And I think it's pretty clear how crucial having a permanent home is to establishing those needs. And so that is why this is considered a human rights issue. So once you've embraced a human rights issue, we need to discuss how you can develop and implement policies and strategies that are compatible with that perspective. And there are two prongs to this. There's intervention, which is developing strategies to remove people from homelessness and to provide relief. And the other is prevention, which is addressing the social issues that can cause homelessness. So intervention, Housing First programs Housing First is a model that was originated by Sam Simbaris in the early 1990s in New York. And this model focuses on the rapid placement of homeless individuals in housing by removing any obstacles such as sobriety requirements or treatment compliance. And this is linked to the theories of Maslow, as we discussed before, because you are addressing the most basic needs first and then providing a continuum of community-based resources to create and achieve goals to improve the quality of life. Another aspect of this is community reintegration. When you place somebody in a homeless shelter and it is sort of an isolated incident, you are still ostracizing them from the community rather than restoring them to the community. And so that has to be a focus of that perspective. As for prevention, the National Low Income Housing Coalition provided their Out of Reach report and found that a combination of wage stagnation and lack of affordable housing has resulted in a state of affairs where a full-time minimum wage worker cannot afford a one-bedroom apartment at fair market rent in 99% of American counties. This standard is set by the government that 30% of, or no more than 30% of your income should be spent on rent. And by that metric, in Lexington, a minimum wage worker would have to work over 80 hours a week to afford a one-bedroom home at fair market rent. And so two solutions to this are a minimum wage raise and investment in affordable housing. They have to sort of go together, because if they aren't, you can raise wages, but if there is no affordable housing available, it doesn't really have the desired impact. So what does this mean for Lexington? In January of 2020, 689 homeless persons were accounted for that were living in either shelters, transitional housing, or were unsheltered. And this doesn't take into account those who are virtually but invisibly homeless, such as those who are living in cars or out of motels, or those who are couch surfing with acquaintances or friends and are therefore much harder to account for. And what can we do to address those issues? The most important thing you can do is to use your voice and to become involved in civic engagement. And this can be attending meetings of the Office of Homelessness Prevention and Intervention, posted their meeting schedule with a link. You can also reach out to local policymakers to voice your support. You can tweet at our mayor. You can find your legislator and call or write or email and voice your support for a human rights perspective to our current homelessness issue. Another option is to follow organizations like the Homeless and Housing Coalition of Kentucky. These are organizations that frequently will have information about current legislation that is relevant to supporting the efforts to address homelessness. the most important thing that you can do, that we can do as a community, is to show up and to speak up. Thank you.